Oh my god.
So what do you think about them Yankees?
We're off to a great start. I don't watch sports. I know like nothing about sports at all.
What?
Jesus Christ.
What is your cup of tea? Like, what is your version of sports that you like to partake in or watch?
I mean, some might disagree when I'm saying that it's kind of the same, but like, because I'm into like performing arts and stuff, dancing. Like, I don't participate as much just because like I'm more of a singer than I am a dancer. But like, I've got a lot of friends who like dance and they're crazy good, and like, yeah, watching them like go right after one another is like, it's almost like they're competing. Is like, oh yeah, that was really cool, but look at what I can do. And I'm like, yeah, they're crazy good. They're so good.
Well, it's interesting you say that because like some of the best football players practice ballet for like their footwork.
Yeah.
Even though ballet and dancing is probably different, right?
Not really. Like,
No.
really, when you look at it, ballet. So like, with my college, we have an entire year of taking ballet, and I'm not sure if we do it our second year because I haven't gone back yet. I will be next semester though, which is awesome. But yeah, we take a whole year of ballet class, and when we're really looking at it, it's like basically every dance move comes from ballet in one way or another. So like, most of the dances that we have, like even just normal terms that you hear, like chasse or pirouette or tendu or bontement, like all of those are French terms, and they're all from ballet.
So how old is ballet in that ballet? Like,
It's one of the earliest forms of dance. I can't give you like even a ballpark of the year. I know they probably told us, but it was like a one passing moment. It wasn't like a point of, oh yes, this will be on your test. No, it was like, oh yeah, one time in this year, this king was like, yeah, dancing, and ballet was born.
So like, where did dancing even originate? Like, who was the first guy to start moving his body in a funky way to some funky beats, and like all the other cavemen started following suit? How did that go down, you think? Or is it a way to attract mates?
Personally, like if we're talking like, yes, these are facts, I have no idea at all, because like it's older than I think we have like recorded history of human behavior, so I'm not too sure about that at all.
Yeah.
But
like in your wildest guesses, like your hypothesis, how do you think dancing first got started?
I have no idea. That's a good question, honestly, though, because like it could be from anything really, like you were saying, like a form of like attracting mates, or even communication, because like before, like we had like words that were cohesive in like a language that everyone understood. I'm sure like if I pointed at you, then like curled my finger in towards myself, you would know that's me beckoning you towards me. Or if I'm like doing like having my hand out and then like waving it at my neck, you know, that's like oh, don't do that, that's bad, you know, like
so you think
it could be an ancient form of like communication that just evolved, because really what a lot of people use it for currently is a way of expressing emotions that they might not have the words for. So
that part I never understood. Like, how do you express emotions through dance?
The only way that I can't even really describe it with words, but like when you like, have you ever watched any performances of someone dancing?
Yeah.
Couldn't you tell any kind of story that they were trying to portray, or maybe how they were feeling, like with even just their facial expressions, or how erratic their movements were, how sharp they were, or how soft and slow and almost liquid they are? And like it can also be through the music that they're dancing to, because like if I'm trying to say I'm sad and I am also deeply in love or something like that, I wouldn't play like, I don't know, Rap God, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so like body language creates that narrative.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah, neither did I until I went to that school and started learning
Mm.
how to dance like myself, or like actually watching the other people dance.
Mm.
I kind of like I got a bit of a taste for it when I went to see Cirque du Soleil in Vegas. They were doing their Love show, which is all around the Beatles.
Mhm.
And there were some things that were just like, oh yeah, that's a cool like circus trick, but then they did one number where it was like it was something in the way she moves.
Mm.
And of course the visuals were stunning and very interpretive, because you could see they had like, so it's a in the round stage, so that means it's like an arena kind of area where it's like the stage is directly in the middle of a circle, and every like the audience is surrounding them in that room. And going across the room in like an X shape, there were these curtains that were coming down that were just kind of opaque, that you could like just kind of see through. And then there were two dancers, and then one projection that was going across those four screens, and it was crazy to watch, because it was the projection was like this little like almost stick figure man that was made of smoke.
Mm.
And he was dancing with the woman that was on stage.
Mm.
And so she was dancing with this projection, and what was happening was the other dancer on stage, it was a male, and he was trying to dance with the woman, but she was more interested in dancing with the projection, even though he was still kind of doing everything that the projection was doing, just barely away from her. So it almost looked as if she was dancing with his shadow.
Mm.
And like, where just that in itself could be picked apart and analyzed as like, oh yeah, this means this, or this is how she was feeling, or this is how he was feeling, and this is why they did it this way.
Mm.
A lot of it is seen in the way that they move, and like the way that they move together or apart from each other or something. It's really amazing to watch. If you ever get a chance to go see a Cirque du Soleil show, I highly suggest it.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy, because what is that statistic where it's like the verbal communication is only like a small percentage of language, like a large percentage of language is body language?
Yeah, is nonverbal.
Yeah.
Like it's all just nonverbal communication, like facial expressions, or like what I'm doing with my eyebrows, or like where my eyes are pointing, and or just like, so if I'm sitting forward like this and I'm just leaning towards you, then it makes it look more comfortable. Whereas if I'm sitting all the way back here, kind of got my arms crossed in front of me, and I'm like holding my hands, you know that's more like, it's more like I'm stressed, or like I'm trying to hide, or I'm unsure of what's going on, or like if I'm talking with your hands is like a big part of nonverbal communication, because it gets you more of a more of an idea.
Emphasizes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, where it's like this part of your body, your solar plex, it's like your emotional center.
This is your solar plexus.
This part?
This is your diaphragm. Yeah.
But this part, where like your ribs connect in that U shape.
Yeah, that the whole bone right here is the solar
Okay.
plexus.
So that is considered your emotional center. So if you sit like this, you ever see guys like standing like this, the arms crossed, it means that they're uncomfortable. Whereas if you stand with your chest out, your shoulders down,
Shows more confidence.
yeah, this whole entire area opened up. It shows a more confident, more dominant
Yeah.
body posture.
See, I feel like that's not like an exact science, because like I can guarantee you there's been times where I've been standing.
Well, it's all you gotta think about. It's also
Like, it's where your shoulders are, because if I've like my back is hunched and I've got my arms crossed like this, then that could mean closed off or anxious or stressed or something. But if I've got back straighten my shoulders, down my neck straight, and I'm looking up and I've got my arms crossed, that's a completely different feeling. And like, I cross my arms when I'm comfortable sometimes just because it's more comfortable.
Yeah.
So.
I wonder if that comes from like when we were cavemen hunting, like, and it was the nighttime, and we do this, like we're postured up, ready to fight, but we're covering ourselves so we don't get scratched.
Maybe? Question mark?
So it's kind of like, so it's like some defense mechanism that we picked up when we were monkeys or something. I don't know.
No idea.
Yeah. It's like interesting.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. What's the deal with tailbones?
With tailbones? I have no idea, but I think it's obnoxious sometimes. See, my oldest sister, when my mom was giving birth to my oldest sister, she broke her tailbone. Like,
What?
my sister broke my mom's tailbone as she was giving birth to her.
How is that possible?
I don't know exactly how that happened, but it did, and my mom will never let her live it down, and it's been like 30 years. Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, why do humans have tailbones, but some of us don't have wisdom teeth? Like, do you have wisdom teeth?
I did, until I got all of them taken out at once.
Violently?
I mean, I don't know, I was unconscious for it.
So it's like, for example, I don't have any wisdom teeth. I'm one of the lucky few evolved people, while you guys are still there to fester with your appendixes and wisdom teeth and other vital organs you can take out. So how come there are some people without a tailbone? How come we haven't evolved past that?
I mean, evolution takes, hundreds
of
of
thousands of
years.
years,
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like the wisdom teeth, for example, like you don't really need them. That's why we take them out. But then there's some people that don't even have them to begin with.
Well, that's also not entirely true, because like some people live their whole lives with their wisdom teeth and not needing to get them taken out. Because it's really just in your genetics of because like if you have a wide enough jaw, then it won't matter. You won't feel like any more pressure or anything like that. It's just they're just there. So like I know a lot of adults who are like well into their 40s or 50s who've still got their wisdom teeth because they just it doesn't matter.
Well, what I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is like there are some people who do have wisdom teeth and people who don't have wisdom teeth. So when do we get to see the day humans without tailbones, humans with tailbones, and then will they have an advantage over us tailbone having people?
What the heck?
What?
Jesus Christ. So first of all, I didn't even know that like people were born without tailbones. I thought that was just a thing.
It's not.
What are you talking about?
I'm
Are
saying,
you
like,
saying
if-
theoretically
yeah.
if people were born without tailbones?
Hypothetically, when it's like 2020, 22, when we're long dead and go,
2020, 22?
yeah, 22, 22.
There you go.
When that day happens, will that person have a advantage over us tailbone having people?
Other than not running the risk of breaking their
Yes, that's
tailbone
what I
while
mean.
giving birth.
Well, I mean, like, some people sit on their tailbones because they sit like this.
Yeah, I guess.
So it's and then that causes lower back pain. So there's going to be a generation of people who aren't going to have lower back pain.
Okay, if there's any evolutionary, like, profit to not having a tailbone, it would be infinitesimal at the most.
Well, you never know. Maybe if you get rid of the tailbone, you might have some, like, extra mobility. You might get some good golfers.
Aha, see, I have completely removed my tailbone. Now I can move my leg 180 degrees.
Well, you tell me.
No, I don't know.
How much do you know about the human skeleton?
A decent amount, I guess, maybe? I don't know.
So then is that even plausible? Like
No.
it's not.
No.
All right. Well, this is a good why I have you here today, because if you weren't here to tell me that, I would have gone on when I'm believing that people evolved to not have tailbones.
You would have gone and gotten your tailbone removed.
Maybe.
A good use of your hard-earned money.
Mm. So me and my friend were talking last night, and I came to the realization that you can't get donuts past a certain time of the day.
Yeah, you can.
We're right now. Where can you get some good donuts that are freshly baked that have been sitting all morning?
OJ's.
They still make them?
Yeah. I was just over there the other day. OJ's is open like 24 hours.
Okay, but besides that place, to the rest of the world,
To the rest of the world?
yeah, like a chain organization, like a Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, isn't Dunkin' Donuts 24 hours? You could probably order a donut whenever you wanted there.
You were destroying my business.
Are you? Do you mean like it's not socially acceptable to be eating a donut at like 6 p.m.?
I just never found a place where you can buy donuts past like 12. And then so my idea was to start a dispensary, and then inside of the dispensary have a donut shop that's open after hours. No, the other donut shops are closed. So like all the potheads will get munchies, and they'll be able to get evening time donuts that are being freshly baked.
I mean, I guess.
But then like the donuts would be
But
so
like
good.
they've also got like McDonald's, and McDonald's has fries as well, which everyone always wants.
Yeah.
And then like they have the like the pies.
Yeah.
And I don't think McDonald's has donuts.
I think Jack in the Box. They do. Jack in the Box does. They have donut holes.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, there we go. Then there's
But that's donut
they
holes.
make but it's still donut.
I mean, it's like this, dude. Like you want to have like a really good steak, but they give you a really bad cut of steak. Like, it's still a steak, but it's not the steak I wanted.
Yeah, but it's still steak. That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
The donuts. If donuts were available, like if donuts are available all day, they are.
But where? Like, if I were to leave this mountain,
If you were to leave this mountain,
yeah, and go, Inland Empire, LA, Las Vegas, somewhere like that.
dude, probably any donut place. Like, so you know how I said that OJ's is open 24 hours? There's another place right next to my college that's also a donut shop and is 24 hours. I remember I was walking with one of my friends, his name is Seth, and we were just up at like 2:30 or 3 in the morning, and we're like, yeah,
Let's get some
whatever.
donuts.
And we were just walking around. We went over by Subway because Subway's also 24 hours, and we're like,
Yeah,
I'm
some
kind
good
of
cookies.
hungry, and we're like, we don't want Subway. So like we looked, and right next door, there's a donut shop. I don't know what it's called, but there's a donut shop, and it's 24 hours, and like they didn't have a whole lot of things, but like we got it, and it was like pretty much fresh. Like they make donuts all day into the morning. It was like 3 a.m.
I think they may have just copied my business idea, man.
I believe it. You should have patented it. Trademark.
Like the fidget spinner. Whatever happened to fidget spinners, man?
Hopefully they died out. Please,
Was it-
please don't bring them back.
Were they replaced with Ritalin? Because they were meant to be. They were meant to be for people who have attention deficit
my
disorder,
God.
right?
Not specifically. It's just meant for anyone who gets distracted or just like a fun little toy to mess around with.
So yeah, they probably got replaced with like speed, caffeine pills, or Adderall.
There's
Keep people's
probably a
attention.
lot of Adderall, yeah, but like not for everyone. Like,
Yeah.
however, oh my God, that's something that kind of bothers me a little bit of like how many people are like, oh yeah, I have ADD or I have ADHD, or like they take their children to go and see if they have ADD or ADHD. No, not everyone has it. Like,
Yeah.
if you get examined by a doctor and like they did like a sleep study and then like a bunch of other studies, all that kind of stuff, and then you like have like medication for it. Well, not in every case. You don't always need medication, but like if you have been diagnosed by a doctor that's not WebMD, then you have it. But like you see too many people being like, "Oh yeah, every once in a while I see something moving out of the corner of my eye, and then I look over there, and then it was just a squirrel or something." Yeah, I've totally got ADD. No,
Yeah.
no, you don't. You're not special. Stop.
You know, I feel like it's the same way with depression and anxiety.
Mm,
What do you think? You probably have more of a tasteful opinion than I could ever form, I suppose.
okay, so it's a little bit more of a, I don't know. It's a little bit more different. Yeah, I guess. It's just different with that kind of thing, because it's like with depression, there is a difference between being depressed and having depression. So with having depression, okay, so anyone can be depressed. Anyone at all.
Mhm.
So like I have a horrible day. I have a horrible week, month, whatever, however long of a time span it is, and it's like a really bad time. And like I just start thinking like, wow, nothing's worth it. This is horrible. I'm really depressed.
Mm.
There it is. You are depressed.
Mm.
But just because you're depressed, even if you're depressed for like a long time, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have depression. Now you might, and that's something that you should get checked out for, and you might get like some meds from a doctor or go to therapy, which will help. But having depression is a whole different monster.
Mm.
So imagine, okay, so think about it like this. Depression is if I stab you in the leg and you're unable to use that leg.
Mm.
Okay? Depression, you don't have a leg.
Mm.
I stabbed you, it'll get better eventually. It might take a very long time depending on all of these variables, like what knife was used or where I got you, and that transfers over to what happened, who was involved, was it someone really close, how long have you known them, what's the subject about, and all of that is why you could be depressed. But having depression is as like it can be on and off, but it never goes away.
Mm.
So like I'm trying to think of another example of, so like well, another thing about depression is like you can be happy, like people will see you and they'll be like, yeah, this person's a really happy guy, and like you're great. But the thing is, sometimes depression isn't a situational thing. It's even though everything is great, nothing could be better, I'm having a great time, all of this, all of a sudden you just like someone turns off a light.
Mm.
And it's just you, like have you ever been just in a room and something really loud or really scary happens all of a sudden when you weren't expecting it, and you just get that feeling in your stomach, and like your chest sinks a bit and you're like, oh god, what just happened? Is something wrong? It's that, but it lasts longer. And it just like, it can be slow, like it can be like happy, then you like zone off for like half a second, then you start to feel sad, and then boom, you're depressed. Or it could just be, I'm really, really happy, I'm having a great time, I'm out with my friends, I'm like getting food with them, I'm bowling, I'm whatever, and then all of a sudden just, I am not okay, I need to go home. And it's so depression isn't necessarily situational. Whereas everyone can be depressed. Just because you are depressed doesn't mean you have depression.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just like, if you're happy for a day, doesn't mean you're ecstatic forever or something like that. Like with that comparison, fair.
Sure, I guess so. But really, like, the thing is, like, depressed people can be very happy, like, extremely. Robin Williams. Just think about Robin Williams. He was a light in so many people's lives. Everyone loved him. He was hilarious. He was always, like, making everyone laugh on stage or, like, even in person. Like, he was just a great, funny guy. But he had depression. It wasn't like, oh man, I'm feeling really depressed. I don't want to live anymore. It was a constant battle on and off all the time, not knowing when it was going to hit you and just dealing with it. So like, as you were saying, like if someone's like super ecstatic for a day, doesn't mean they're going to be ecstatic and happy and cheerful forever. You know, like I was saying, it could happen at any time, even with no trigger. However, that's another thing about depression. Is like some people have triggers, where that's also kind of a common thread with PTSD. Is like if you have something in your life that really caused your depression, and it's not just like a chemical imbalance in your brain, or that's not true. It doesn't matter. So like kind of with PTSD is like something will happen that reminds them of a thing, or it makes them feel the same way that they felt it at the certain time, and it will trigger an anxiety and depression attack often. Yeah.
That's fascinating. So then what about like anxiety? Like, do you think that's overdiagnosed, or do you think there's a fair amount of people that legitimately do have anxiety?
Okay. I think a lot of people do have anxiety, and even the people who, I mean, it's like everyone has anxiety from time to time, you know? It's kind of like the being depressed, like anything can happen, and then you're like, oh, I'm really anxious right now. But like something that like me personally, I've like witnessed and like even experienced is like, I can think like, oh yes, this is a situation that I'm really anxious in. Like, ooh, my boss just called me in after I know that I did something wrong, or oh, I just like accidentally broke a window and now I hear my dad coming down the stairs and I'm like, oh god, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna yell at me or whatever, you know? So like it can cause someone to be anxious, but having an actual anxiety attack is the thing that's different. And I'd never understood that because, like, I had friends or relatives who were like, oh, yeah, I was at this party and then this happened and then I had an anxiety attack and I had to go home, or I had to step outside and walk around for a little bit. And like, it just didn't make any sense to me because I'd never experienced it. I didn't know what they meant. I didn't know how that felt. So I was like, okay, just thinking like, oh, I feel bad for you, but like that's just kind of an overreaction to being anxious. And then soon afterwards, like just not too long ago, something happened, and like for me personally, and it just caused me to, whenever a specific thing happened, I'm not going to get too into detail, whenever a specific thing happened, I would start to have an anxiety attack. And the first time it happened, it freaked me out really bad because I was like, what is happening? I've never had this happen before. And I just kind of thought about it for a second, and all of the friends that I've talked down who like were freaking out or they had an anxiety attack or something, and I was trying to help them, this is exactly how they explained it. And I was like, oh, this is what they meant by anxiety attack. I get it now, and I feel so horrible that I wasn't able to do more because now I know how much it sucks.
So do you mind going into detail of how that felt, like in your best words?
Oof.
Like,
let me think about it for a sec, because it's like, usually I'm pretty good at putting feelings into words. I just need a sec to think about it. Like, think about in movies. Okay, so in movies, when there's a person who like something happens and it scares them or something like that, but instead of like freaking out and like screaming and running, it just like they stop, their eyes get like super big, the camera like zooms in on them while the background moves at a different speed, and then there's like usually like a bass drop kind of thing, and it's like,
Yeah.
and it's like it just goes really close to them, and it's like that's kind of how it feels a little bit, plus like just I don't know if that made any sense at all.
That makes perfect sense.
So it's that, and you get this feeling in your stomach as if you were on like a roller coaster right before you made like this super big drop down, where it's like it feels like it moves back in your body, and then like your stomach is just dropped, and then like your throat closes up like the moment before you're about to cry, and it's just hard to breathe in general, and that's not just due to your throat, it's just because your body is not getting what it needs, and it's freaking out and doesn't know what to do. And yeah, I think that made any sense at all, maybe.
That makes perfect sense. Like the one thing that I can't differentiate is what is the difference between anxiety and fear.
I don't know how to put that into words.
It's like everybody feels scared. Like I can tell you a handful of times I've been scared, but I can't necessarily pinpoint anxiety. Like I could be shy, but I don't feel this clamoring, overwhelming sense like I don't want to do this. I've always been like, this is a little bit scary, but I'm just gonna do it.
Okay, well that's just because you're like more of a calm person.
Okay.
I think is what that really is like for me, like, so that's the one that I described was like an anxiety attack, is like something happens, you feel that like someone just punched you in the chest and all that, and it's like you're like you just feel more, and like you're freaking out, and you can like hear your own heartbeat. But like just in general being anxious, like little bit of shortness of breath, heart more intense, you might find yourself fidgeting or like tapping your leg, or like you're somewhere that you don't want to be and you kind of want to leave, or like you're about to go into a meeting or something and you're like, ooh, I'm really afraid of what's going to happen, and it's freaking me out, because it's like,
so it's more psychological.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know. That's only in my own personal experience, of course.
Okay. So then, is that just like genetics? Like, is that predisposed at birth? Like more people. Some people are more calm in certain situations, but in some people's brains are more wired to be like, this is not okay. Like, is there? Can this happen to anybody? Do you think?
Well, yes and no. It also has a lot to do with experiences, and like how you grew up, the environment you grew up in, the people you were raised by or raised around. But it's also just, some of it is genetics. Like there's some people where it's like, oh yeah, everyone in our family constantly has anxiety attacks. We all have inhalers for it or something like that, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Because I always... What about this? How much of... Is it just, like, somebody overthinking things? Do you think, like... Like, not an anxiety attack. That's definitely real. But, like, someone were to say, oh, I have anxiety, but it's just them being an overthinker.
Well, here's the thing. I think that there is correlation with overthinking and anxiety attacks. So it's kind of like the more that you overthink things, or the more intense the overthinking is, the harder the anxiety hits you. But I think there's like a little bit of a grace period where it's like you can be overthinking things and it's not really making you anxious. But I feel like And of course, it's not, like I said, it's correlation, not causation. Like, there's other things that go into anxiety or anxiety attacks. Overthinking just is a variable that I think contributes to it sometimes. Of like, if I'm sitting here for long enough and I think about one thing, like, let's say, and of course, this is all like metaphor. Like, I'm not.
Hypothetical?
Thank you. That's the word.
Yeah.
Metaphor. Duh. Yeah. Hypothetical. So, let's say that. Let's say Jimmy cheated on Karen. I'm making this up. So Jimmy cheated on Karen. Karen messages Jimmy at some point and says, "We need to talk." And of course, those are the only words that people like never want to hear, especially if they've done something wrong. So now Jimmy, was it? Did I say Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jimmy sees this text, and of course, immediate reaction is going to be, "Oh no, what did I do?" Or, "Oh no, she knows." Now, if you look at that text, and if Jimmy would look at that and be like, "Okay, this is a thing now, I'm going to have to deal with it." And then if he thinks more and more and more and more about it, like, for all we know, she could say, "We need to talk," as a, "Hey, our living arrangement is really bothering me. Can we please move?" Or something like that. And like, if he overthinks it and overthinks it and overthinks it more of like, "Oh God, what did I do wrong?" Or, "Oh no, what if she knows? Oh no, what if she knows exactly what happened or when she happened? Or what if it, like, she's gonna freak out? Oh no, she's gonna break up with me. She's all these things." And then that's what would lead to the anxiety. So it's like, if he just thinks like, "Oh no, this is the thing I'm gonna have to deal with," that's like not as much anxiety, but like there'd still be anxiety. But if he thinks, "Oh no, what if she knows?" that's more anxiety. Then the more you overthink it, the worse and worse and worse it would get.
Okay,
I think.
so it's bringing fear into this realm of existence, like your thoughts.
I guess so. Yeah.
So it's like you can be like, "Oh man, yeah, it's scary, but I'm gonna deal with it." But an anxiety is like that fear exacerbated into like your whole entire body. It's you associating a thought with a powerful emotion that's going out your whole entire body.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you looking for?
Oh, nothing. I was trying to figure out why you did a thing earlier with the aux cord. I realized now. Sorry.
Yeah. It's always something like I always like never understood, like back in high school. Hearing people say they have anxiety, they have depression, I was like, well, I mean, how much of that can like is just you thinking that way, and then how much of that can be like just solved by you knowing which you need to change, and you being too lazy to change that, like exercising.
Well, yes, that's absolutely true. Like, there's a lot of people who are just like especially at that age, like when we were in high school, is like a pivotal age of like your growth as a person and like your personality and who you are. So it's such a stressful, like I've read some stuff about this, and I think like we also went over it in my psychology class of like, it's such a stressful time for everyone. Like, for everyone that's at that age, they're struggling really hard to figure out who they are as a person, because before it didn't matter as much. Before it was, "Hi, my name's Garrett. Oh, what about you? Like, do you like, what do you like? What do you do? What do you, all these things. My name's Garrett. I like to have fun." You know, like,
Yeah.
when you're a kid, it doesn't matter. But then like later on in high school, it's like, I would be like, "Yeah, I'm this. These are my hobbies. These are my interests. This is what I want to do when I grow up." And then it's like, this is who I am as a person. Like, personally, like, am I nice? Am I caring? Am I honest? Am I this? Am I this? Am I this? Am I this? And if not, why not? And like, so everyone's like freaking out about who they are and like who they find themselves attracted to, like just as their friends, of like, ooh, this person that I've been friends with since I was in like third grade, wow, I'm starting to really dislike this person. Okay, why? Are they changing? Are you changing? Or are you changing what you like about them? Or like, are you realizing the things about people that you do like, or the kind of person that you want to be around? So that's a long explanation to just say that
Yeah.
at that age it's such a pivotal time of figuring out who you are. So it's such a stressful time. So you're like, you might be losing friends or not knowing who you want to be or whatever. So like, and it just causes drama. And then also there's all the stress of, what do I want to do when I grow up? All of these adults are telling me that I need to get straight A's on everything, or else I'm gonna end up working at McDonald's and being homeless. Or like, okay, you need to get all of these, you need to get this grade exactly so you can go to this college and this college and this college and this college. Oh, by the way, when you're at this college, what are you going to be majoring in? What are you going to be minoring in? What is all of your studies going to be like? Are you going to be in charge of your classes? Are you going to be driving? Are you going to this, and just adding more and more on? And like, then there's like, okay, how are you going to pay for it? What are you going to do as a career once you graduate? And it's like, when you're in high school, everyone expects you to know what's going to happen for the rest of your life. And that's just this thing that like I think a lot of people do. And it's not just adults. It's not like our parents, our grandparents, or like our teachers, or just anyone that we know. It's like our peers as well. Everyone's like, what do you like? Even since we've been children, it's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And like when you're a kid, you're like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be president. I want to be a firefighter. You know, all these things. And it's like, when you get older, you realize that maybe that's not what you're interested in, or you wouldn't have the skill set, or it's not practical for success. So like you have to worry about it more. And so like, it's just, there's so much stress at that time that I think that because of that overthinking, it's like we're constantly being asked, okay, so you're here right now, what is it that you're going to do? And you're like, I'm gonna finish up this class and go to lunch. And they're like, no, what are you gonna do for the next, lifetime? Like, all of these things that I just listed, it's like, and so like we're forced to think about that a lot, and a lot of people will overthink it, and some people don't know what's realistic, so so because they don't know what's possible or what would work for them, they just assume that there's nothing. So they see themselves as a failure. And that's another thing with like the grades and having all these friends. It's like, oh, all of my friends are hanging out with other people, or oh, I don't like this person as my friend anymore. So someone could have no friends, or they could be stressing about all of their other classes and not do their homework, or they're freaking out constantly and about their grades being perfect or something like that, and so they don't have good grades. And then because of that, they just think, I have no friends, my grades are horrible, I'm not going to be able to get anywhere in life because every one of these people is telling me that if I don't get great grades and have all these people who will support me, then I'm going to be useless. And like, because of that, I think that a lot of people feel depressed. And that could lead to overreactions, which could lead to a situational depression, which could lead to having actual chronic depression. Or it could just be because of all of these things, I'm overthinking things and I'm having anxiety or anxiety attacks. And that happens a lot. Or they could get to the point of overthinking or just even being sad about something and then just feeling depressed. And then also that's just, there's so many hormones at that age, like of just the chemical balance of your body is you're trying to figure yourself out. And so your mind is like, oh God, how many chemicals do I send? I need to balance this out. And your body is like all over the place. So it's really hard at that age for anyone, really. But
So let me ask you this: was that the overwhelming majority? Like, was that considered normal for the overwhelming majority of people our age at that time? Because like for me, I just went with the flow. Like puberty was like never weird to me. It's just like, all right, do this, what's happening. I was just always mellow, very zen. Just going with the flow. Never overthought anything. And I graduated 3.0.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Is there's like, yes, a lot of people at that age and stuff, like I would say the majority of them were having those kinds of struggles, even if they weren't showing it, because they didn't want their friends to think anything of them or anything like that. But like, there are a lot of people, like you were saying, like of your experience, where it's like you've never really had to deal with it. And that could be like so many things could be contributing to that. Like one thing, like I was saying earlier, you're just like a really calm person, and like that's a good thing. Like that's not a bad thing at all, trust me.
Well, I think also like what it is like, okay, we'll take a quick break.
Hello, welcome back. Thank you for coming to listen to our podcast.
Ooh, that wasn't that great, actually.
It sounds like one of those commercials with the old ladies that has a hole in their throat from smoking.
I used to smoke for 13 years.
13 years? Yeah, pretty messed up.
I smoked like a pack a day for 13 years. Now I have emphysema.
Emphysema's not funny.
What? No, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said, emphysema's not funny.
It's really not.
Okay. Anyways.
Water is so good.
Yeah, it's
Fun story.
that's crazy. You can just get like a gallon of water delivered to your house.
You can get multiple gallons of water delivered to your house.
You can get a human delivered to your house.
We don't talk about that.
Dude, there's gonna be like a whole generation of people within this generation who are gonna have mail order brides because they're so anxious and like don't want to step away from the keyboard. What do you think? Do you think that's a plausible hypothesis?
Yeah. So like, I feel like as a generation, like, I mean, as humankind even, we've all become so much lazier. And it's like that also I like that's not entirely true. Like there's a lot of people who like are still crazy active all the time. And like they can't sit for like that long, or like sit inside their house being lazy, like on their computer, or like watching Netflix. Like of course everyone has those days, but like a lot of people are like a lot of the people I know at least are like constantly like I can't sit at this desk for any longer or I will die. So they like go walking or running, or like they go to the gym or whatever, like but when it comes to like stuff being delivered or just doing things in general that might make you more lazy, I think that's pretty true. Like we've got Uber Eats, Lyft, all those.
Dude, funny story
pizza
about
delivery.
That. So up north, I have two friends, and they live pretty close to each other. They don't live on the same block, but they live like, so there's one block, Main Street, another block, kind of like that. They're like that close to each other. And so there's this like a place where you can get falafel, and it was on the Uber Eats, and my friend is like right around the corner, from here, right around the corner. And the friend from over here is like, "You're such a fat ass. Just walk. You can literally walk there. Get into your car." We're like, "Nah, blood."
Dude, it costs less.
Yeah.
It costs so much to order an Uber Eats or whatever it is that you want to use, DoorDash, I don't know. But like that costs so much. Plus you've got to like tip for delivery and like tip himself, I mean, you know.
Dude, but it's worth it. The way it's explained to me, well, He's a big guy. So he's like, yeah, it's worth it, man.
He's like, I may be fat, but I know what I like.
Yeah, but like I think like discipline is definitely like a key thing to instill into children at a young age.
Mm.
Like get them into sports. Like I now realize that as an adult, seeing things in a different way. Like sports, I always thought like, why am I playing? Am I playing this to entertain people? Because if that's the case, it's not how I want to entertain people. And like it's not really fun. You know, you get bored in the outfield or whatever, what have you. You gotta show up to practice. So that's why I never got too far in sports. But like
I don't know about sports because like I don't know anything about sports really, but like there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
I'm not good at sports. I don't like playing sports.
Mm.
So I feel like you're right. Like parents should be giving their kids like something to be like, all right, go do this, be active, do this thing, and be more determined and more goal oriented or whatever. Like have something that you do. But like sports, I don't think is a fit for everyone. Like lots of kids, their parents are like, you're gonna do this sport whether you like it or not, and then they like get stuck doing a sport they hate for like a few years.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think martial arts probably like one of the better. Anybody can do it. You don't have to be the quickest, the fastest, the strongest. It's just all about technique, and it still is like that.
And you don't even need to be like super fit either. Yeah. Like anyone could do it.
Yeah, because like I used to do taekwondo, and I definitely built some discipline in me at a young age. Even though I only got yellow advanced belt.
Yeah, I see it on your wall there.
That's a regular belt. So what happens is you start off with a white belt.
Yeah.
They put the one stripe, another stripe, and then you graduate, I guess, onto the next belt. It's called a white advanced belt. So there's belts, then there's advanced belts, white belt, white advanced, yellow belt. That's and then after that I got my yellow advanced belt. So I only did four belts.
Gotcha.
But at the same note, it did like I think that's where I really instilled in my brain to stay physical, like to this day. Cause that's right around the time I got into it. Was around 12ish.
Okay.
And like so, I think if I hadn't had done that at that age, I don't think it would be like ingrained in my brain to constantly do that.
All right.
But in doing so, like staying consistent with doing something that's hard, like lifting weights, maybe builds. I don't know. It builds discipline in different aspects in your life.
Yeah. I guess like yeah. Like no, you're right. I was just trying to think of like another thing that could help with just like
being disciplined.
Discipline. Thank you. I was like determination. No, that's not the right word. Discipline. Yeah. Like there's definitely more things than just like yes, you must, make your body hate you and then like just get like do all of these things like super active like just being on top of even schoolwork. Like you see these straight A kids who are like super smart and like are gonna get into like crazy colleges. It's because they're disciplined, because they do their homework and they make sure that like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna do all of this homework, and I'm gonna make sure it's the best it can be, and I'm gonna double check it and make sure that everything is completely correct. And I think that in itself is another kind of way of getting that discipline that you're talking about, of like to make it so that people are less like, I guess, lazy or whatever.
Well, I think that kind of goes like with that right brain, left brain. Like for me, like you can't pay me money to go to school. I will not take $1 billion to have to sit through a class. But you don't have to pay me a penny to sit around doing this or making beats. I would just soak my time and energy into something creative. Like, I think that's also.
Yeah.
That's why lifting weights works for me. I feel like for building discipline, whereas somebody else, like, I absolutely love schoolwork. I love to.
It's like everyone has their cup of tea.
Yeah.
Because like another thing, like how you were saying, like with like couldn't pay you to go to classes. You just haven't found the right classes.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, I was the same. Like, if you told me that you would pay me, like, I don't know, like $500 for every day that I went to, not every day, like, you would pay me a crap ton of money to go to a math class or a history class or, no, I liked science, but like another GovEcon class or something like that, I'd be like, leave, just get out. I don't know, no way, no, never. But like, then like, when I'm thinking about it, then there's my college that I'm going to is like, it's a thing that I'm paying to go to because I want to learn about it. And it's like, you're right about like those classes, like certain classes, it's like you couldn't pay me to ever go in there ever again and do that. But if I have the chance to go to a semi-private voice lesson or a private voice lesson or my vocal masterclass or music theory or piano, all of those are like actual classes that we have at that college. And it's like, I look forward to going to those. Or like teaching methods. That's another thing, because like I might want to become a teacher or something. So like all of these things is like, you just got to find what suits you. Because like, think about this. What about for yourself going to a class where they teach you how to completely run a system like this so that you can like make your podcasts like have more little like bells and whistles, like a cool little intro theme and then like a piece in the middle and then something at the end to like close it, or like a good way to like structure it a different way to like attract more people, or like this little soundboard you got here, like I came in and I was like, yeah, well, I mean, if you do this and this and this and you don't have to be as close to your microphone and it gets your voice better and all this stuff. So wouldn't you go to a class so that you could like learn about that?
Yeah.
Or like how to, like you were saying, like you're making beats and songs and like could like show you how to do stuff like better. Like of course, like you're doing great as it is, but
you're doing better.
You could like,
what?
There's always room for improvement. If you ever get to a point in your profession where you think I could never be better at what I'm doing, you need to find a different profession.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like self-sufficiency. But yeah, that's how I feel about writing. Like I might write something like 6 months ago, and I hope that 6 months later, that it doesn't sound the same. I'm always trying to change my writing style. Always trying to top myself, and I think what it is, I am my biggest judge. So I'm like a perfectionist at it, and like this is never good enough because like I could do better.
Everyone is their own worst critic. Yeah.
And like I could definitely see, I'm getting like way better, and like it's just strong magnitude, strong magnet that attracts me to just constantly try to be the best at rhyming, at putting words together that rhyme, and writing is just this inexorable. Is that you pronounce that?
Sorry?
Inexorable.
I have no idea what word you're trying to say.
Like insurmountable is probably a better word.
Insurmountable, okay.
Let's think of another word. Somebody there?
It sounded like it. Yep.
How are we getting this back on the rails? Some crunchy goodness.
Oh yeah.
While recording.
These pita chips are
Is
delicious.
it still recording? It is still recording.
Is it?
This is fascinating.
It is recording. Look at that. I got these pita chips at the farmer's market. It was on Tuesday. Oh wait, today's Tuesday. Check that out. So like a week ago, got these pita chips, and like Terry Lynn bought them. She's my stepmom. She like bought these with like some hummus and some pita bread, and like, oh man, so good.
Like something about French bread is absolutely delicious. I don't know what they do.
Oh,
Just freshly baked French bread.
Bread?
Fluffy, steamy.
any freshly baked bread is so good. Like yeah, it's just really good. But speaking of really good food,
Big Macs.
this morning, nah, I mean I guess, but this morning, my little sister said this was disgusting, and she just doesn't know what she's missing out on. So you know the those very like toaster strudels things. Okay, so I had the apple cinnamon ones,
They make those.
What?
They make those.
Yeah, there's like little chunks of apple in it, and then it's like gooey, and it's got like cinnamon. It's really good. So,
We gotta try this out now,
dude, oh yeah,
I've never
they're so
heard of
good.
this. Anyway, continue.
They might sell them at like Walgreens or something. I don't know. So I made 2 of them, and then I put peanut butter in the middle, and then I put the icing, frosting, whatever, on top, and then made it into a sandwich. Oh man,
That sounds like
it
peanut
was
butter.
so good because the peanut butter went really great with the apple,
Yeah, yeah.
and then like the crispy, like the
Flakiness.
flakiness and all that of the strudel itself, and then like the cinnamon added like that good flavor, and then like the icing made it like a little bit sweeter, and so like it kind of tasted like you know those packets of like Quaker instant oats or whatever, where you just like tear open a pack, throw them in a bowl, and then into the microwave, and it's like the apple cinnamon one. It kind of tasted like that, but like as if it was a pastry. It was so good.
How is it that a dessert item became a breakfast food? Like if you tried to market that today, like right, if it never existed as a breakfast item, year 2019, you see an ad. Here is a dessert item from Europe, and we're marketing it as a breakfast.
I mean,
Does that
honestly,
have any redeeming factors?
given like who we are as a society, we'd be like, all right, we eat McDonald's at 2 a.m. and we'd be fine with it.
like if you look at cereal is just pellets for humans.
Thank you, Cheerios are actually human birdseed.
like what's crazy is like, we never mind the sugar, but it has everything you need. Has all the essential B vitamins, has a very minute amount of protein, which kind of sucks, but that's where you get the milk. The milk has protein. You got some whole grains, which is, arguably good, arguably bad, depending on which diet you want to follow.
Okay.
And
I mean, I guess it like you'd have to have like
yeah,
a certain mix of cereals.
yeah.
I guess because you can't get everything from cereal.
So this is what I do. Check it out. I get like some Cap'n Crunch, and get like a Monster. So I'm covering on all
God.
bases. So I get the caffeine to wake me up like a coffee. I get all the B vitamins and amino acids from a Monster drink, and I get all the other vitamins and minute things like iron, calcium, in the cereal.
Donald,
What?
I think it's important for you to know that man does not live on Captain Crunch and Monster alone.
What? That's only sometimes. That's not even. That's like once in a rare blue. This is when I was like, when I was taking a bunch of supplements, and I was like, yeah, let's destroy stuff and lift heavy things over our heads. So I was like,
So much pre-workout.
yeah, dude, pre-workout doesn't even affect me. Like
That's
caffeine,
not good.
caffeine, like, does like the opposite effect. It like calms me down. But anyways, what I was going with that was like, it's like, well, if I look at the back of the can of the Monster, people, I always get like older people telling me like, oh man, I don't know why the government legalized those. Those things are so bad for you. But it's like, not really. The only thing bad is the sugar. But that's why you would get like the tea, the Monster tea.
Mm.
It has no sugar, or has very little sugar. And other than that, there's no like, I mean, maybe artificial flavors, but even then, it's not even artificial flavors.
You just gotta look at like all of the things that are into it, because like there's
Yeah.
like, okay, Diet Coke.
Yeah, it's just as bad as regular soda.
It's
Maybe even
really
worse.
bad.
Maybe even worse.
So Coke and Diet Coke have aspartame.
Mm.
Aspartame is really
Nail remover.
not good for you.
Nail polish remover. Did you?
No,
No?
that's I think.
Yes, it
Um,
is. Continue.
So, anyways, so aspartame, I believe it's also used in like certain kinds of gum to keep it so it like stays together.
You want
And
some
then,
gum?
no, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay.
I've still got my pita chips here. And it's also used in like, I think stevia is the one. It's either stevia or Splenda, one of those two.
Stevia is its own thing.
Yeah. Oh, so it's Splenda. Splenda
Yeah.
has aspartame.
Yeah.
And it's like when like it was like on the news a while ago, and it's like the people who work at the plants where they like process the aspartame or like they get it or whatever, they've got to wear like these full like hazmat suits because it's so bad, and like people who've been like exposed to too much pure aspartame or whatever have gotten like cancer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so we're putting that in drinks and gum and sweetener, like what are we doing?
Dude, we're
like that's
hijacking-
really not good.
Dude, we're hijacking our reward system in our brains to like favor that sweetness over like a natural like sugar that you would get from like a fruit.
Yeah. Like, did you know that like if you have an apple, it'll wake you up better, more efficiently and faster than like a cup of coffee?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the natural sugars in it, and it's just like more healthy for you, you know?
Yeah. We know what's the other thing about diets? Like people get pretentious about them.
Oh my god, yeah.
Dude, like I'll be, doing my job, do my thing, and people be like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to go on this keto diet," or like I'm on the keto diet, but like they're fat as hell, dude. They're not doing it right.
And that's why they're going on the diet.
Okay. Well, you can justify
Maybe.
that. You can justify that when they say, "Oh yeah, I'm going on the keto diet."
Also, some people can't help it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's just kind of in your genetic, or like your metabolism doesn't work as fast as other people's. So it's like, for me personally, like there's been times where it's like I just either wasn't feeling it or I didn't have money or like no motivation or whatever, so I like just didn't eat for days. And then I would eat something and it's like it wouldn't even be anything with like any fat at all, and then like I would just get bigger. And that's just because my metabolism is complete crap.
Well, I was also gonna say was like, not everybody's body's response to carbohydrates the same. So like, for someone to put all their stock into one belief or ideology like that, it's kind of dangerous if you think about it. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go on this diet. I'm going to make sure to tell everybody about it. I mean, we all do that about things we're interested in. But to place all your stock into like one thing isn't necessarily safe to do. You know what I'm saying? Like to be overly preachy about something that you have no experience in. Like, do you think that's how culture started? Like some crazy dude has like 3 girlfriends, and then one of the girlfriends tells her other friends like, "Where's I going with this?" Like it's super preachy, like, "Oh yeah, this guy's so great," and then it brings 3 more people, and people are like, "Yeah, this guy's like God. We should start giving him money," and then that dude kills everybody with poison Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but
anyways, what I was saying was like, do you think it's dangerous? I guess what I can segue into. Do you think it's dangerous to get your news from one source?
yes.
So then, do you think it's also dangerous in any aspect in your life, like just to rely on one thing?
I mean,
Always. This is a very broad topic that made more sense in my head.
no, I get it. I know exactly what you're saying. Like, yes, I think that's like some people. Okay, a lot of people do that. A lot of people rely solely on one specific source, and they're like, all right, whatever this thing says is the truth, and this is what everything is. Like, I don't know what I was saying there. Hold on. Like, some people will take anything that someone says as truth at face value. They won't delve deeper and try and figure out, like, maybe like getting their information from more than one source to be like, okay, so this is what this person says. What about all of these other people? Because maybe they might have been the one person who was like, oh man, all of this is horrible. This horrible thing is happening, and it's the worst thing that's ever happened in human history, and all of these people are so wrong. When really it was like just their opinion, and like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other sources are like, this is actually really great, and like although that these, like, maybe some things are happening, this could lead to this and this and this and this, and studies have proven this, that it's actually a good thing because of this, and blah blah blah. And if they're just listening to like one say conspiracy theorists, they're like, oh yeah, did you know that that this is this? And they're like, oh wow, I didn't know that. And then they just take it as truth and don't listen to anything else.
Dude, that's kind of
So
what we
I
were
think
talking
that
about.
could be dangerous.
That's kind of what we were talking about the last podcast, where like social media is this great experiment to see what happens when you give people ultimate freedom.
Uh-huh.
And it's like some people's opinions just suck. Like some people don't need to have their opinions have a fan base.
Everyone has the right to their own opinion.
Yeah.
And I have the right to think that your opinion is dumb.
Yeah. But I mean, like, if someone's preaching some dangerous shit, like, hey, if you see a cop, yeah, that. If you see a cop, shoot at him. Or if you see cops, disrespect them. Like, something stupid, dangerous that, you just shouldn't be doing. Like, with social media, if it goes unchecked and you believe in, like, you think about political stuff, if you land on a certain spectrum, you can say some wild shit and it'll go unchecked. You're on another side of politics, you say something that you believe in that's not even that crazy as compared to the other side, and it'll kick you off. They'll censor you. So do you think, like, biased against people's ideas in this thing that's supposed to have, like, no rules per se, like, could that stop ideas, and could that create, like, bad ideas to be even more prevalent if only a certain group of ideas is being shown to light?
Yeah, very much so. Because, like, think about... Okay, I'm going to grab this just because you also did that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, oh, Jesus. So, think about it in the way of, like, police brutality. Perfect example. The only thing you see on the news or on Facebook or on whatever you, like, look at memes on or whatever, it's like the only thing that you ever see is people being upset and saying, man, cops are pigs and this is horrible and the system is so dumb and it's rigged and I'm a good person and all of this. And it's like, chances are, if they're sharing that, like, okay, sure, maybe that cop was not handling things the right way. That happens a lot. However, what you don't see on the news is cops doing great things, or like being kind, or even better example, it shows the people that make those posts about cops mistreating them, but it shows what they were doing before they started recording. Like that kind of thing, like the stuff that they don't want to share on social media or whatever, because honestly, a lot of the people who get taken down by cops or whatever, or like the people that say that they're mistreated, deserved it because of exactly what we were saying. Like, if someone's only posting all of these things about cops, and it's like it'll lead to more people being pulled over and like sitting in their car and then like automatically shoving their phone in the cop's face and like recording them and being like, I'm watching you, what's your badge number, you can't do anything, you can't do this, I have rights, I have the... And it's like, because of that, they just push it too far and they start going crazy with it, and they just, it's almost as if they want the law enforcement to treat them bad because they want to show it more on the internet to get more famous or to get more popular, or to just be like, I disagree with police, so therefore I must be correct and everyone should validate me on social media. You know what? Shut up. You're sucking up my bandwidth. Like,
yeah. There's another thing, bandwidth. Like, there's mental bandwidth. Think about it.
Yeah. I get you.
There were just some people who were just like energy drainers.
Yeah.
Like especially at my job, where everyone's like, there's really nobody my age, and the people who are working there are like middle aged and up, and you can see like these people who were our age at one time, and their dreams and aspirations. And then they land up at a job for someone our age, college kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can tell they don't want to be there. Nobody wants to work that job. You can pay them all the money in the world. It's just a terrible job, in the sense that it's just mundane, boring. It's just the dead, growing pace. And this is very. I don't know. I don't want to say the meaning, but it's like it just plain sucks.
Yeah.
Where's I going with this? Oh yeah, mental bandwidth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like those people are like vampires on your psyche or subconscious, like negative people or people who see what you're trying to do and don't want to see you succeed in that. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so anyways, what I was saying was like people who are like that, like just drain you with like hopeless, I guess, being hopeful. Like you walk into a place and there's like a certain energy, and you walk into that place, it's like, damn, dude, this is cold ass shit, man. it's just like,
yeah. I think we all know at least, like, definitely more, but at least one person where it's like they walk into the room and you're like, ooh, all right, so that's what it's gonna be like for the rest of the night. And it's like, you just have that feeling of, oh man, all right, maybe just bring your mood down and just like,
yeah,
how much you're willing to put up with.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy how strong that type of energy is.
Yeah.
Like, there's some kind of like electricity that we radiate. that we. That's why I think like influential people like like Martin Luther King, just there's something that you're given at birth. I feel like, but that's definitely something you can work on, even if you don't have that kind of gift to captivate an audience.
Yeah. I mean, it's like everyone has like I think a different kind of energy in that sense of like, or in the way of not everyone has a different one, but like it's more than just black and white. Like there's so many different kinds out there where it's like you see someone and it's like you're just so attracted to them as a person, not like oh wow, I really like this person, I want to date them. No, I mean like they're just such a good person and their personality is attractive, and it's like maybe they haven't even done anything for you, or like that you've like witnessed, you just have this feeling that they're a great person, and it's like, I don't know what it is about you, but I want to be around you. Yeah. So I know a lot of people like that. Like my college is just filled with those people. Like they're really good at picking those.
So I think about that just like on a wider base. Like you're like a third, like not even 30, but you're just like an adult living your life, living on your own. And then like how much of like other people's like attitudes affects you? Like how much of other people's egos deteriorates or erodes your own perception? I don't know.
No, I got you.
But like
a lot.
That's why it's so important to just not give a fuck at a certain spectrum, because you can be like the type of person like, oh yeah, I don't give a fuck, look at me, I don't give a fuck, or you can be the type of person who just chill and just lives their truth, And it's like,
because there's a very big difference between the two.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people who are so devoted to not giving a shit that because of that,
that's the personality.
That's like their entire personality is something will happen. They're like, well, all like you'll like go up to them and you'll be like, man, I'm having a bad day. This person said this thing about me, or Shelly, I don't know, some Shelly broke up with me or whatever, and then he's like, well, you know what you got to do, man? You just got to not give a fuck. You just got to not care. And that's what I do. I don't care. And look where I am. Look at how successful. Cause I don't give a shit. And it's like, that's like their whole personality. And that's it.
Dude,
like,
you know where that comes from? Cause I can see that. Like, I can see how somebody can be like that. And like where that comes from, at least in my hypothesis, is somebody who doesn't want to feel their feelings.
Oh yeah.
And like I definitely it wasn't like that type of person, but like I'm definitely at a time where it's like I don't want to feel my feelings. There's definitely a time where I can be like that.
Well, another aspect that might be a part of that is how their parents reacted to certain things when they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, if their parents didn't give them enough attention, or if they like went up to their parent and they were like, "Hey, mom, this thing happened," and they're like, "Okay, deal with it."
Mm.
You know, I feel like
That's
I feel like that
that
contributes to
old
that a lot.
The old school mentality, like you get hit with the belt, deal with it. But I think there's definitely like a difference. I feel like once you become more self-aware of who you are, that's when you start putting when you see yourself how other people perceive you, that's when you can start like putting the puzzles together to make you who you are. I feel like it's so important to meditate and just have like time to yourself, and like you can really get lost into your thoughts and be like really think about how you affect other people, how you come off.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the energy thing where it's like you can definitely change your wavelength. You just have to be like you have to be willing to want to change and like see yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You gotta see yourself want to change. That's like such a big thing. It's like
so many people wait for things to happen for them instead of trying to go for it themselves. So like you can't just be like, man, I don't want to be like this anymore, and then just continue doing exactly what you've been doing for your whole life.
Dude, that's the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome.
Well, it's not the definition. It's Einstein's definition.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not. That's not like the actual. Like if you looked it up in the dictionary, that's not what it would say. That's just.
Because I've always heard that, but I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I think is it Einstein? Might be Einstein. I don't know.
Let's pull that up. See what does the Google have to say? Oh yeah. Should we take another break?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I can Google that. And we'll talk about that.
So what do you think about Jimmy Neutron?
So we're ending it the way we started, huh?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Just your average day in the life of Jimmy Neutron. You seen that video?
No.
Don't. It's not worth it. Do you know that it used to be called like when they were just coming up with the idea for it? The original name was Johnny Quasar. It's horrible. Have you seen the little video they made of it?
I do, but I don't remember what happens in it.
Don't rewatch it. It's not worth it.
Dude, you know what's ambitious? Is that it started off as a movie. And like, hey, we like that movie a lot. We're gonna make it into a TV series.
I know. It's like it was. Ooh, that's fun. Your filter's flying all over the place. I'll fix that. The movie. It's like I never realized that it was a movie before it was a TV show. Yeah. And then like as soon as I found that out, I was like, what? Like, and I like every time that someone would talk about Jimmy Neutron, that's what I would always say. I'm like, hey, you knew the movie came first, right? And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah.
It's gotta be like unique to our generation. Because like if you were old enough to watch when it first came out, that's not gonna be a problem.
What?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I haven't seen Jimmy Neutron in forever, dude.
Yeah. So, how's that Captain Crunch?
This Captain Crunch is phenomenal. I haven't had Captain Crunch in forever. Reminds me of my childhood.
Cries tears.
Uh-huh. Oh my god. What is wrong with this? Can we tighten this, please?
Yeah, you see.
Yeah, I know how. It's just these up here. Jesus.
Well, I think that concludes for today.
All right.
Anything you want to say to the people?
Yes. I just lost the game.